In this video, we'll be showing another example of completing the square. In the description, we will show the previous videos on this channel, and so feel free to look at them before coming here to get a better understanding. And so, to start off, we have our equation, 3x squared plus 6x minus 12 is equal to 0, and we've been asked to solve it by completing the square. So to start off, we're going to write the formula of our quadratic equations. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And so we have a value of a as 3, so 3 is our coefficient of x. And what we do is we factorize 3 out of the first two terms in our equation. And this gives us 3 times, we have x squared plus 2x, then minus 12 is equal to 0. Now we can start by completing the square. And so we can find our value of b as our coefficient of x, and this is 2. And so we can use our completing the square formula, which is x plus b over 2, the whole squared, minus b over 2, the whole squared. And so we have b as 2, and we substitute that in, so we get x. So 3 times x plus 2 over 2, the whole squared, minus 2 over 2, the whole squared. Close our square brackets. Then we bring our 12, so that's minus 12 is equal to 0. Now we're going to simplify our fractions. We get 3 times x plus 1, the whole squared, minus 1 squared. Minus 12 is equal to 0. If we now multiply our 3 into the brackets, so this gives us 3 times x plus 1 the whole squared minus 3 minus 12 is equal to 0. So we get 3 times x plus 1 the whole squared minus 15 is equal to 0. And now we can start to rearrange our equation. So the first thing that we're going to do is move 15 to the right hand side. So we get 3 times x plus 1 the whole squared is equal to 15. And we move our 3 to the other side. And we get x plus 1 the whole squared is equal to 15 over 3, which is equal to 5. So x plus 1 the whole squared is equal to 5. And now we square root both sides. And with this we get x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus root of 5. Now we lose our 1 to the other side, so we get x is equal to minus 1 plus or minus root of 5. And here we have our answer. Now we have our second question. We have 2x squared plus 10x plus 1 is equal to 0. And with this we're going to complete the square. So as always, we're going to write out the generic formula of our quadratic equations, and we get ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. We find our coefficient of x squared, and for that we have 2. And so we factorize 2 out of the first two terms, and for this we get 2 times x squared plus 5x and plus 1 is equal to 0. Now we complete the square on our x squared plus 5x, so we find our coefficient of x. We're going to set that as b, so b is equal to 5. And then we're going to use our completing the square formula, which is x plus b over 2, the whole squared, minus b over 2, the whole squared. And so we can substitute our value of b into the equation. So we get 2 times, in the square brackets, x plus b over 5 over 2, the whole squared, minus 5 over 2, the whole squared. Close our square brackets. We add plus 1 is equal to 0. Now we we simplify our square, so we get 2 times x plus 5 over 2 the whole squared minus 25 over 4. We close our square brackets, plus 1 is equal to 0. Now we multiply 2 into our brackets, and this removes our square brackets. So we get 2 times x plus 5 over 2 the whole squared minus 2 times 25 over 4 plus 1 is equal to 0. Now we can cancel out the 2 in our numerator and divide our denominator by 2. This gives us 25 over 2. So we have 2 times x plus 5 over 2 the whole squared minus 25 over 2 plus 1 is equal to 0. And now what we can do is we can multiply our 1, have it as a fraction, and then multiply our numerator and denominator both by 2. And so we get 2 times x plus 5 over 2 the whole squared minus 25 plus 2 over 2. So this allows us to bring our two values together. We get 2 times x plus 5 over 2 the whole squared minus 23 over 2 is equal to 0. Now, from here, we're going to start rearranging our equation. So we get 2 times x plus 5 over 2 the whole squared, which is equal to 23 over 2. We divide by 2. So we get x plus 5 over 2 the whole squared is equal to 23 over 4. Now we square root both sides. So we get x plus 5 over 2 is equal to plus or minus root of 23 over 4. And so we can square root 4 and bring it out of the equation, out of the square root. And so we get x is equal to minus 5 over 2 plus or minus root of 23 over 2, because we brought the 4 out by square rooting it. So we get x is equal to minus 5 plus or minus the square root of 23 all over 2. And this is the answer we get for completing the square. So now we have another equation. 7x squared minus 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. And so we're going to write the formula of our quadratic equation. So a x squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And so that we're going to find the coefficient of x squared. We have that as 7. So what we can do now is we can factorize 7 out of the first 2 terms in our equation. So we get 7 times x squared minus 3 over 7x, close our brackets, minus 1 is equal to 0. Now what we can do is find the coefficient of x. I'm going to set that as b. So b is equal to minus 3 over 7. And now we're going to take our completing the square formula, which is x plus b over 2 the whole squared minus b over 2 the whole squared. And so we're going to substitute our value of b into this formula. And so we get x 7 times x minus 3 over 7 over 2 the whole squared minus 3 over 7 over 2 the whole squared. Close our square brackets. Minus 1 is equal to 0. And we can simplify our fractions. So we get 7 times x minus 3 over 14 the whole squared minus 3 over 14 the whole squared. Close our square brackets. Minus 1 is equal to 0. And we square the second part of our equation. So we get 7 times x minus 3 over 14, the whole squared, minus 9 over 196, close our square brackets, minus 1 is equal to 0. Now we can multiply 7 into our brackets. And for this we get 7 times x minus 3 over 14, the whole squared, minus 7 times 9 over 196, minus 1 is equal to 0. And so now what we can do is we can simplify our fraction. So with this, we get our equation as, so this is 28 times 7. And for this, we get it as 7 times x minus 3 over 14, the whole squared, minus 9 over 28 plus 1, minus 1 is equal to 0. Now we get 7 times x minus 3 over 14, the whole squared, minus 9 minus 28 all over 28. We've done this by bringing the 1 into a fraction. That equals 0. So we get 7 times x minus 3 over 14, the whole squared, minus 37 over 28 is equal to 0. And now we can start to rearrange our equation. So we get 7 times x minus 3 over 14, the whole squared, is equal to 37 over 28. So we can divide both sides by 7. So we get x minus 3 over 14, the whole squared, is equal to 37 over 196. And so we can square root both sides. We get x minus 3 over 14 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 37 over 196. And since 196 is 14 squared, we can bring that out to the square root. And we can rearrange our equation. So we get x is equal to 3 over 14 plus or minus root of 37 all over 14. And we can bring our two fractions together, so we get x is equal to 3 plus or minus root of 37 all over 14. And this is the completed square version of the equation that has been solved to find x. As always, thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any new content.